All right. Next would be Mr. Michael Monroe, County Coordinator Report.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Item number 1, board action to approve the purchase of hardware and software for your mosquito control department. Mr. DeWitt Polis, your mosquito control director, informed me that the state is requiring that the county to upgrade the current software and hardware used for his reporting purposes. As this is a one-time expense and is part of an ongoing maintenance contract, I recommend that the board authorize this $14,145 purchase from your capital outlay budget line item.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion?
Well, there's a mandate.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
They say we gotta have it.
Yeah.
We do have a motion second on the floor. All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item number 2, board action to approve a special use permit 2017-01. This permit is between Franklin County and the St. George Island Business Association Incorporated. The permit would allow the association to place business signs within the right-of-ways on St. George Island in locations agreed to by the county and the association. The permit includes requirements along with some restrictions and allows the county to terminate for convenience without notice. This actually is the agreement for the signs that they brought to you guys that they want to put up, which will eliminate all those stick in the ground signs throughout the island. Everybody's been complaining about it.
Pleasure of the board.
Y'all good with it? I mean, y'all.
Yeah, Mark's pretty good with how it looks, where it's going to go, and Attorney Schuler created the special permit, so yes.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3, board action to authorize advertising for construction, engineering, and inspection consultants for both the Ellis Van Fleet and 17th Street SIGP repaving project and the Mill Road Scott repaving project. As the board may recall, the county was informed that all future FDOT projects must have separate firms for design services and CEI services. Currently, Preble Ridge Dewberry, the county's engineer of record, provides all of the design services for these type of projects, so the county now needs a firm to provide the CEI services.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, can I bring up something right here on this particular issue, but not to do with the vote? I know I've talked around to a few counties, and I've brought this up before. Do you think it might be an idea, just to go out there and visit it? I think Mark was supposed to be working on it, to have maybe another engineering company on board here, or maybe 2 engineering companies. I don't care. You can do it to where when we have something like this, it's automatic.
I think that's what we're doing, ain't it?
Well, this one, Mark is doing this job for these 2 jobs specifically, but I think Commissioner Sanders is right. He is working on getting another firm to do all of our CEI.
So we don't have to re-advertise it.
Every single time, yeah.
That's what
Yeah, Mark is,
So-
you're right,
Working on
Commissioner, he's
that?
on track with that, he's working on
Okay.
that. He just
He
wanted to
needs
make
to
sure he
come
gets these, because they're asking for this right now. FDOT, I saw the email on Monday. They
Well,
want
you
this.
remember how long it took for Ballpoint? And the reason was because we had to get that other.
Exactly.
Because they had started the new rule and that was it. You know,
Yeah.
the CEI and all, you had to have a different one other than the professional engineer
Yeah.
that you have on staff. So we need to see if we can get something done to where we know if there's going to be any more cost involved.
Yeah.
And so we need to do that around the budget.
On a more permanent situation. And
Yeah.
just,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
and just to let you guys know also, I've talked to the 2 Clays at Preparation. Their feelings are not hurt. They know this is an FDOT requirement. They're still our people, but this is something we have to do.
Yeah.
Election time, they got to spread the money.
Now, this is an FDOT commissioner.
That money be spread.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, did
Okay,
we get a motion? We're through at 4?
I think we already did, didn't we?
Okay. All right, so we did 5, we did 6. Let's move on. No, we didn't do
We didn't do four.
I'm sorry, my
You didn't
bad.
do
I'm
four.
counting my chickens here. Board action to authorize advertising for an assistant grant manager. This person will assist Mr. Mark Urrington, he's the county planner. Mr. Urrington's role as the county planner has become less about planning and more about grant management. As I've discussed with the board at previous meetings, a majority of our grants come from FDOT, and the lab certification is very important to the county. Mr. Urrington will be eligible for retirement within a year and a half, scary as that may sound. And it is my hope that he stays with the county beyond that time. But having someone else lab certified and actively aware of our grants is the best way to prepare for his retirement. This will be a permanent part-time position with no benefits with the exception of retirement. There is funding for this position in our current budget.
And before I ask for a vote or whatever, I actually asked Mike and Mark to work on this because Mark's trying to handle all the grants, but he's also having to do all the planning stuff for the county. And if he retires, which one he wants to, but we gotta have somebody able to stand in and try to have a seamless transition into not only the grants, but we also gotta be looking at what we're gonna do for a county planner. And then when you say you went out and advertised and brought somebody in, they have no history of what goes on in Franklin County, why our comp plan's written a certain way, why our land development code's written a certain way that works with our comp plan. And we gotta bring somebody in that can start getting some knowledge of what's going on. And not wait till he says, well, I'm gonna retire next month, and then here we are sitting here as a county, not ready to make that transition. So the funding is available, and I'm very much in favor of trying to bring somebody in so that whenever he does retire, whether it's 5 years or whether it's 3 years, we got somebody there assisting him and learning all the little things about what we do in Franklin County and why everything is written the way it is. So I'd like for the board to move forward on this.
Yeah, let me just say something, Mr. Chairman, and I'll make that motion to do that in just a minute. With the state moving into the direction that they're moving into, where you've got competitive grants out there more so than what you ever have, Mr. Noah has pushed for grant person for years. And he's finally getting what he wanted.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make that motion that we go ahead and allow Mark to do that, Mark and Michael to do that.
Okay.
Second, and, can I say that? Yeah, another reason, 2 years not long, and if we don't pay for it, or learn a person now, to get to know what Mark I'm doing, or get in that position to know what's going on, you're gonna end up having to pay a consultant down the road, so it's gonna cost you way more money.
Well, and you never can put a price on institutional knowledge.
Sure can. And Commissioner, I'll tell you, I started the lab certification thing, and you might call it conspiracy, but FDOT's classes are always on the first or third Tuesday. That one Tuesday where we had the whole, well, anyway, we won't go through that again. But I was away from that meeting is because that's where it was. But I can't continue to miss meetings to become, lab certified. It's not gonna work. And we can't tell FDOT when to hold their classes, unfortunately, so,
Any other discussion from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, please. Michael, in here, it says that, it states that it's a permanent part-time position. Is that talking about just for the end of this budget? Or?
No, it's,
Or in other words, who we're talking about hiring is just gonna be a part-time person?
it's a permanent part-time. I just don't have the funding right now, Commissioner, to.
No, the reason I ask is because that, we're talking about a year and a half, 2-year time frame.
Yeah.
Well, you're shortening it up to a year if they're part-time. That's the only.
Yeah,
reason.
yeah, and,
Only reason I
And we
ask.
may have to come back at some point and readdress that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I was asking.
Depending on what kind of qualifications they get in when they advertise. If you don't get somebody qualified, then it may be because you're only a part. So, we're gonna have to address that, but let's start out with this. But we may have to address that
yeah.
Sounds good.
I
as we
understand,
move forward,
Commissioner.
depending on the pool of qualified applicants that we get. We're just gonna have to look at that and move when we need
So
to.
basically, if we find somebody good that doesn't want part-time, I gotta come back to talk to you about it. That's what you're saying.
Something we gotta consider
I got you.
as we move forward on next year's budget. We do have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
Okay. I have my agenda with me. I need a board action to schedule a public hearing on an ordinance establishing a moratorium on all development and all development applications in the commercial district on St. George Island. Florida, between 3rd Street East and 3rd Street West. The moratorium will be for a 6-month period of time while the board develops a St. George Island corridor zoning overlay district. It's something we talked, I would say more so with our land use attorney than with, I'm not, if you have any questions or something, I might have to take back to our land use attorney and talk to ask him, or ask him to come here from the board to discuss, at the public hearing or before then. It's up to this board.
So this is actually establishing a public hearing.
Yes, that's all. You're allowing me to set up a public hearing. Okay.
Pleasure of the board.
Make a motion for the public hearing.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
Okay, since the board did that, item number 8, board action to adopt a zoning in progress resolution instructing its planning and zoning staff not to accept any new development application which have been filed with the county for development in the area between 3rd Street East and 3rd Street West on St. George Island, Florida. This resolution will be effective upon adoption. This basically gives us that breathing room until we have the public hearing and we inform more of what's going on and what we need to do in order to move forward.
So it's sort of like we're doing the pole barn stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Yep, I make that motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Jones. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed?
I vote.
Let the record reflect Mr. Lockley opposed.
Okay.
Proceed.
Item number 9, and I know you guys are going to say, why are you doing this so early? I'll get to that afterwards. Board action to approve the route for the upcoming Franklin County School Homecoming Parade. Parade is scheduled for Friday, October 13th. The parade, which follows the same route as previous years, will be on Highway 98 from North Bay Shore to 2nd Street and East Point. The road closure will be from 2:15 to 2:30 p.m. The school representative will be responsible for contacting FDOT and the Sheriff's Department.
So
The ti-
moved.
I was going to explain the time and the route and the time of closing is the same as been in previous years. The problem is FDOT's permitting now takes forever. Last year, they had to drive up to the Midway, I guess, to get it signed, to get it done. So they're just being,
It takes a long time.
yes,
to get it through
they're just
DOT.
trying to do their best to get it done a lot earlier than they had to not go through what they did last year for the parade,
We have a
Mr.
motion.
Chairman,
for the
I'm
permit.
sorry, can I say something before we make a motion? Are you sure this is accurate? North Bay Shore to 2nd Street?
I think that's where it's closed, that's where they
Oh, okay.
closed 98 from there
I was
to
gonna say,
there.
that's a long parade.
Yeah, I think when they back it up, with all,
Okay.
I believe,
Makes
that's
sense.
what I had from last year and the year before, so
Okay.
I just went with it.
Cool.
We do have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second
Second.
by Commissioner Lockley. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
My final item, Commissioners, is inform the board I was contacted by FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, last week regarding the traffic control devices on the state highway system. Since the county elected to opt out of the traffic signal maintenance and compensation agreement, FDOT will be responsible for maintenance and for the power utility bills for these traffic control devices as of July 1st, which is Saturday, until 2017. So from now on, we don't have to worry about maintenance, and we will pay our last bill this month sometime, which will carry us up to the end of June, and it's all on them. Honestly, I think 2 of the 3 signs are solar, so there's only 1 bill that they actually have to pay. But, and I know Alan and Attorney Schuler have been going through this with FDOT for a couple years, almost, back and forth about this. So they're finally, he wore them down, and so basically, they got their own contractor to handle it. And that's it.
We won't have to deal with it no more.
No more, sir.
Board recess for 5 minutes.
She said, put some fire in me.
Board of County Commissioners is now back in session. Next on the agenda will be County Attorney Report, Michael Schuler.
Mr. Chairman, I do not have a report for the board this morning.
No report from County Attorney. Any questions from the board members for the County Attorney?
I do, but I'm fixing to choke. Let me ask a question. That's water going down at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
On the golf court ordinance for the county that you're working up, are you working on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Have we found a person through the engineering firm possibly that can do a traffic study that we need to have?
The engineer that we have on staff has ultimately concluded after much searching that they, in fact, are the best qualified firm to provide a traffic study, and so they have, to my understanding, commenced work on that themselves approximately 2 to 3 weeks ago.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sheila.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions for the attorney by the board member?
No, she covered mine.
She covered yours
She
too.
covered mine. I was,
All right. We're down to,
Yeah, one more.
okay.
Mr. Schuler, you don't know no time limit. I got a lot of people asking me when that gonna happen.
Right now, it's in the hands of the engineering firm that's conducting the traffic study, and until I get that report back, there's really nothing else that the county can do. I will get back in touch with them to see if they can give me a timeline, and then I will report that back to each one of you individually.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next will be commissioner's comment.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I have a couple of things. Number one, just to inform everybody that may or may not know, some of the parents, grandparents, people that are associated with our kids at just one down in Sebring, as they're coming back today, they have asked on Facebook and different social media for people they're going to put out when they're coming through. So some people, anybody that wanted to might be at the roadside or whatever, have a sign, go Seahawks, or, this kind of deal, but just to make everybody aware of it, publicly aware of it. They're putting it out through Facebook and different social media when they will be coming through, and they're gonna do it all the way to Apalachicola, just to make everybody aware. And I do have a question also. I talked with Mr. Kennedy. It's come up to me, especially on the island with our crosswalk. I've had several people ask me about the possibility of us going away from the small sign on the side of the road about the crosswalk to putting the sign that's actually embedded on the road top that says something to the event of PED-Xing or something that people can definitely see coming toward it either way. And anyway, so we'll continue that discussion. I just want everybody to know what we're discussing. No, they're gonna put it on Facebook. They said they're gonna try to do it an hour to hour and a half before they should be here, so people have plenty of notice. But I would imagine it would be mid to late afternoon. It's a 6.5 hour drive, so I'd imagine 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, I would think.
Any other commissioner comment? No further commissioner comment, public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. Alan Pfeiffer, Concerned Citizens, Franklin County. Getting ready for the budget workshop coming up on the 20th. NGO, the non-governmental organizations in the past have come sometimes with financial information, sometimes without financial information, always, telling stories of how they benefit the community or the problems they have. I have been contacted in the past. There's some organizations that seem to be underfunded and some that may be overfunded, but I thought the fair thing to do would be to request that all the NGOs bring financial statements with them when they come before the county. And if the commission so agrees with me, would they direct staff to let them know to bring their financial statements, balance sheet and income statements? And that's my only request.
We don't normally take action on public comment. I mean, that's not typically how we do, Alan. We should have got to this while we were in a different setting.
Okay, I'd be happy to bring it up next time. What would be the correct setting? I'd like to comply.
I'll tell you what, Commissioner, let me talk to the finance office and see who actually, so a lot of times they send stuff to us by email.
Sometimes they do and sometimes they
They
don't.
don't. So let me see from the finance office first exactly how many don't, and I'll let the board know, and that's something we could bring up. I'll put it in my report at the next meeting, if that's what you guys.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Okay?
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Any other public comment? There being no further public comment, board meeting is adjourned.
That's 10 o'clock.
That's what it says.
Oh.